just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. NCDC confirms 14 new COVID-19 cases in Nigeria as 7 more patients are discharged from the infectious disease hospital in Lagos, bringing the total number of discharged persons in the state to 39. Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed tests negative for COVID-19 as State Deputy Governor says number of confirmed cases of coronavirus in the state is 4 and not 8. Senate President calls for better coordination of donations for tackling the COVID-19 pandemic, advocates a central body other than the Presidential Task Force team to receive and manage the funds. And UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson moved out of intensive care unit and St Thomas's Hospital in London as global COVID-19 cases hit almost 1.5 million. Plus, we'll have business, sports news from Abuja, the FCT, and later on international news from our London studios. Our website, channelstv.com, has more information on our top stories and others. Do subscribe and watch Channels Television's live stream on YouTube and other social media platforms using your mobile device browser, or you can download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from their respective stores. You can also watch us via your smart TV platforms on Apple TV, Android, Fire, and Roku TV as well. The devastating impact on COVID-19 on national economies as well as global oil prices appears to be defining a new strategy for economic growth and development for countries. Nigeria, a strong member of OPEC, is having its own share of the impact of the oil glut, owing largely to the price war between Russia and Saudi Arabia. In continuation of our series on the global impact of COVID-19, our energy correspondent Olu Phillips takes us through the journey of oil price slumps. Now let's take a deeper look at all this. I'm now being joined on the news at 10 by the Group General Manager, National Petroleum Investment Management Service, that's NAPIMS, Mr. Bala Wunti. Thanks a lot for joining us and coming in on the news at 10.
Thank you for having me, IJ.
Yeah, we've heard that from Olu, but looking at the impact of COVID and everything that he said, from the perspective of production, from the perspective of revenue, how do you see it?
Obviously, the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic is very far-reaching in the sense that it has affected everything across the world. As you are aware, when this happened, it caught the world unprepared. And what the world did was, in order to contain it, they triggered a kind of lockdown. And that lockdown led to total economic shutdown. It brought down the economy to a level where it took away almost forecasted to be 10% of the global GDP. And wages of almost $4 trillion has been taken away as a result of unemployment forecasted to be almost 100 million people who lost their jobs. And all these things are happening at the same time when we see demand collapsing completely. Demand has come down by almost between 15 to 20%, from 100 million barrels to somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 million barrels. And while this is happening, production continues to grow. So we have an oversupply and a decaying demand. And the consequence of that obviously trigger a kind of struggle, intense struggle by two largest producers, as the report said, Russia and Saudi Arabia, that lead to a price war. And that price war brought us to where we are, below $20 last week. Today we've seen a kind of appreciation. But despite this appreciation, we have seen a new trend because of the oversupply, mopping up everything that has to do with storage, be it floating storage or be it onshore storage. What that means is that the storage are getting filled quickly, and very soon, if nothing is done, we'll come to a situation where there's nowhere to get to deliver the crude oil.
So what is that something that's going to be done now?
Obviously, we have seen what is happening today. There's an ongoing OPEC intervention where two countries are majorly driving the conversation.
Yeah, and from that meeting, we can see that they've agreed to about deeper cuts of 10 million barrels of oil per day in that emergency meeting, just in terms of what that means for us.
But clearly, I think what matters is that the outcome of OPEC has already been contemplated by NMPs, and of course by Nigeria. As you are aware, everything we have done is in line with our business continuity plan. We do know that when this kind of situation happens, we will, as much as possible, try to focus on what is important to us. And to do that, we have to carry out impact analytics. And what popped out, number one, is that we have to maintain our energy security. And to maintain energy security, it means We have to ensure the entire country is wet in terms of fuel supply, but not only in terms of fuel supply. We have to be sure that there's enough gas to power the power plant so that we can have power, we can have fuel, and that is the preoccupation of the group managing director. When this happened, he was very decisive, and he took a very unprecedented stage to make sure that we have enough fuel. But more importantly, what we are doing equally is to try to reduce cost and see the possibility of deferring some of the projects that we anticipate to come very in the near term. So all this combination with portfolio balancing, it giving a kind of sign of relief. Obviously, it will have a significant impact in our revenue, and because it will have significant impact on our revenue, the expectation is that national budget may experience an increased deficit. How that is going to be dealt with, I'm sure the Federal Minister of Finance are working towards getting a solution to that.
All right, Group General Manager of NAPIMS, Mr. Bala Wunti. Thanks a lot for coming in on the News at 10.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Let's cross over to Abuja now. And here's Ibrahim Adra. Hey, Ibrahim.
Hey, Ijama, good to see you. In a bid to decongest prisons nationwide, President Muhammadu Buhari has granted presidential pardon to 2,600 prisoners across the country. At a joint news conference with the Minister of Justice in Abuja, the Minister of Interior, Mr. Rauf Aregbesola, also announced clemency to elder statesman, the late Chief Anthony Enahoro, and a former governor of Old Bendel State, the late Professor Ambrose Ali. 3 others who benefited from the presidential pardon are ex-Lieutenant Colonel Moses Effiong, Major E.J. Olarewaju, and Mr. Ajayo Lushola Babalola. A controversy over alleged contravention of the government's lockdown order in Rivers State has resulted in the sealing of Caverton Helicopters offices and facilities by the state government. This follows a directive by Governor Nyesom Wike that the Air Transport Organization should leave Rivers State following an alleged breach of the state's executive order to check the spread of coronavirus. The chairman of Obiakpo local government area of the state, that is, Mr. Solomon Ebeleke, carried out the governor's directive today by sealing of Caverton Helicopters premises at the Air Force Base in Rumomasi. The Rivers State government had ordered the arrest and arraignment of 2 pilots and 10 passengers of the air transport firm at a Port Harcourt Magistrate Court. They were thereafter remanded till May the 19th ahead of the commencement of trial, after ordering that COVID-19 tests be carried out on them to ascertain their status. Meanwhile, Kwara State government has declared a total lockdown of the entire 16 local government areas until further notice, with effect from today. The Chairman Technical Committee on COVID-19 and Deputy Governor of the state, Kayode Alabi, announced this while addressing journalists in Ilori. Markets, however, will be allowed to open on Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays between 10 o'clock in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. Now to Kaduna State, where the government has ordered the immediate closure of all major highways and entry points in order to effectively stop the chances of the disease spreading further in the state. In her weekly broadcast today, the State Deputy Governor Hadiza Balarabe asked security operatives to block the inbound and outbound sections of the Kaduna-Abuja Express Highway and other major highways in the state. It has prevented travelers from either coming into the state or leaving, with many stranded and some others arrested for flouting the quarantine order. And when the News at 10 returns, Saudi Arabia and Russia agreed deeper cuts of 10 million barrels per day in oil production amid emergency meeting between OPEC and its allies. Join us again.